This is the Build Zone Podcast.
One, two, three, four.
Listeners of the Build Zone Podcast, we are excited to have on with us a true legend at ABC Massachusetts, Mr. Stephen Callahan. He's the Vice President of Business Development for Callahan Construction Managers. This is like my Moby Dick here. This is the big gun we got on here today with us today. So we're very excited. A little on the nervous side, but we're gonna have fun with this. Stephen, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
And I appreciate it. You know, it's not every day that we get to talk to someone and for the fact that someone from, first of all, you got a PR guy, which is pretty awesome. You're a PR guy trying to arrange this. This is fantastic. But for those that don't know who you are and maybe are new to ABC Massachusetts or the podcast, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do at Callahan.
Sure. So Steve Callahan, I currently serve as Vice President Business Development at Callahan. So, primary goal is external relationships and getting out there, and helping. I work alongside Pat Callahan, who's third generation. He's my uncle, but really just driving business, putting the strategy behind who and what we're chasing when. I've been feeling a little bit old saying this, but I joined the family business when I graduated from Trinity College, which was back in 2003. So going on 23 years now. Callahan is a 71-year young company that was started by my grandparents, Jack and Marie, back in 54. And it's gone through a lot of evolution over the years, but really what we've built today has been, mostly private sector work, where we really pride ourselves on customer service, a really high level of customer service and repeat business. And that's what we've thrived on. And it's what has enabled the growth that we've seen over the past decade plus.
And it's funny that you mentioned, we were just talking to someone a little while ago about generational companies, right? Where mom and grandpa started it, mom and dad worked there too, and now you got other people doing it. What is it about the business, especially a family business like this, that made you want to stay in the business?
So I would say, almost a two-part answer. So we grew up with it, and it was kind of in our blood in that, all through even younger, but high school and college years, that was always the summer job, was playing in the dirt with Uncle Tim and the rest of the crew. But I will say, my father's the middle of the five brothers, right? Who today is not part of Callahan. He went off around the time I was getting out of school, went on the development track, as did oldest Uncle John Callahan. But my parents never really pushed us towards it. So it was kind of like, just do whatever you want, figure it out on your own. So there wasn't any pressure to do so. So I kind of went to BC High, and then I went to Trinity College. I was an econ major. So I kind of went through college with no expectation and really more of a mindset that I would go try something else first. So not to be too detailed here, but so I, as an econ major, I did some internships. They were kind of wealth management related. And what I decided through that was that I don't want to go down that track. So I graduated and figured I'd give it a shot. And I guess I would summarize by saying the timing was fortunate for me in that the company was really shifting gears and going from we did a lot more public work. We were going in a private direction. Youngest Uncle Pat and Tim Callahan, who runs our civil, were kind of taking the reins from John and Steve and Mike and going all private. So what that meant for me was Pat was kind of taking the reins as president, and I'm fresh out of school, and Pat sort of handed me off to clients and saying, this is your new project manager, Steve Callahan. Nice. So it was very much, trial by fire. I'll get the answer, but it was a great way to learn fast. And then sort of my formative years within the company, we always called it, we still do today, we call it special projects. So I was doing more of the commercial work, which is, a lot of TI. And it was small to the point where, we do large projects today. We did large projects back then, but they were small projects where if you screw something up, I was my own estimator, my own PM. If you make a little mistake here or there, it's not going to take the company down type of thing.
Right.
So yeah, those were good years, and you learn a lot. And I will say a lot of those years were great in terms of, building a network, because there were years that me and Rachel Apria as my APM, who's still here today, and a bunch of supers that would cover 30 project sites, we would turn 30, 35 projects a year. And it was great. It was a lot of work. Right. And it was a lot of resources to turn what isn't a huge amount of volume. But what I always liked about it was that even if there's one project that's not going so great, it's a 3 month deal. It's not 3 years of your life.
Right.
And you also get to meet so many architects and engineers when you're turning that many projects. So, fast forward to today, it was those years were really important for me in terms of establishing relationships and kind of building up the Rolodex.
It's great you mentioned that. One of the things that I like to talk about with, especially with your time in the business, is you've seen a lot of changes in the last 23 years in the construction world. What are some of the biggest changes that stand out to you?
Biggest changes, I would just say, there's a lot more formality to the process. Going back 20 years, it just the paperwork, the process, the pro core is so much tighter than it used to be, admittedly. So that's been one big change. And really, I would say, within our organization, we've really so many new positions that weren't there even 15 years ago, like Doug Morrison taking the role as COO, formerly was a PM and then a PX. And just over the years, kind of realizing that we're growing to a point where we need people focused on whether it's marketing. We've always had a CFO, but like COO, more recently a head of risk management. It's been great having Dan Averna here for the last, I think it's a little over 3 years now. But just more of that contract negotiation stuff can be in-house versus, of course, we outsource a lot these days. But I would just say the growth and sort of specialization of what everyone does here has been uh, great to see.
And how about as far as, so let's talk about the changes the last couple of years. What about where do you think the future of Callahan is going? Where do you see Callahan doing next?
Well, I would say that we never chase volume. So we'll never say like we have accomplished our goals if we ever do $1 billion. It's always been organic growth. It's always been doing business with good people, and that's one thing that Pat has taught all of us really over the years. It's like it takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of reps. But isn't it fun when at the end of the day, you can mostly be doing business with people that like, and trust, and vice versa?
And
Um,
do you think being an ABC Masters member helps with any of that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how many years, probably 30 plus years we've been
Yep.
members. And, it's like um, there have been times, and I won't get super specific, but Greg Beeman has been great throughout the years, whether it's like a little union issue or something like that. And we've always really valued our relationship with the ABC. And it's great. Sometimes we have to encourage them, but like sending the estimating guys to meet the generals has been a great resource over the years too.
Right. And I always like to ask longtime members that question about membership because, it's not just about writing the check. It's about like going to some events, sending especially some of the, maybe not you coming over, but some of the other employees maybe new to the company, new to the business, and
Yeah.
they may not know what ABC is. We get that a lot. Some of the
Yeah.
younger PMs, they don't know what ABC is. Well, I don't know what that is. Well, it's something we've been a part of for a long time, and we want the new people to come because in order for ABC to continue to grow and the younger people, eventually Steve Callahan's going to retire one day, could be any day now. We want to make sure that
A little ways to go.
the that's good. It's good to hear though. It's good to hear that one. What about as far as, when you were younger, I know you said the family didn't really push the business, but you wanted to be an economics major, right? That's what you went to school for. What did you
Yep.
see yourself doing if it wasn't going to be doing this?
I'll be honest with you. I was one of those guys that I was a little bit directionless. Like I wasn't like at sophomore year, oh my God, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, not a great answer. I thought econ would be a good major to pick. I enjoyed it, but I will say, as an econ major, I've learned for the years, like the stuff I learned in like macroeconomics, I would only use if I was teaching economics.
Wow.
I think some of the, you carry forward some of the simple stuff, but fast forward today, and again, just back to my comments earlier, it's been a great fit. It's been an awesome ride, and I consider myself lucky to be in this position and on the shoulders of the generation before us that have built such, it's been a team effort along the way, but have built such a great platform from which to go out and sell a family business that I'm so proud of at the end of the day.
Is there another Patterson? Is there another Callahan coming behind you?
Yeah, there's a bunch of third generation, older cousin Jimmy Callahan, and then there's a little age gap, and then Tim's daughters, as well as Pat's son, Pat Jr. They're a little bit on the younger side, but yes, I think there's 7 third generation involved in the business right now.
I think that's fantastic. I think that
Yeah.
that is so amazing because I think I've just seen so many first gen, second gen businesses that I think some of the kids saw how hard mom and dad or grandpa and grandma worked, and they're like, no, I don't want to go to work every day and throwing dirt around or drive an excavator or sit in an office all day. I want to go do something else, whether it be a finance job or could be anything, right? Could be whatever. They saw how hard mom and dad worked, and they long nights, long days, stress of you know financial stress, business stress, operation stress, all that type of stuff.
Well, it changes so much generation to generation.
Right?
I grew up, with my father taking 9 p.m. phone calls from Wayne Griffin at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And just a lot changes. And then, spending 20 years with Pat and Tim, and, we're just starting to think and prepare for, I think with the goal of making sure that their retirement plan is what they want it to be and take as long as they want it to take, but all start thinking as a group, family members and beyond, across leadership, what are the next steps and what do we need to have in place so that when Tim and Pat want to sunset, they can do it on their terms.
That's amazing. Now, I know you've been doing this a long time, and this is kind of a loaded question, and I kind of prefaced it before, but of all the projects you've been involved in, is there one project that you are the most proud of? And you don't have to even be specific if you want, but maybe something specific about, because they're like your children. You don't want to say you got a favorite project, but is there one particular project you remember?
It is a little hard to call out one, but I think it's like, I think anyone in this business would say like the biggest successes come from the biggest pile of crap you had to deal with and work through and the biggest problem set you had to solve for. One that stands out for me was when we moved Cambridge College into 500 Rutherford. I think we moved them in 1718, but it just was, without giving you all the details, like from day one, huge setback. Tried to saw cut for underground plumbing to add bathrooms, and it's like there was this unknown vault filled with asbestos throughout the whole floor. That was an old utility chase. So like that's how we started. And when you do those academic jobs, you like turn your client like, all right, this is going to impact schedule, and they go, well, we can't push the semester back. So it was just one of those examples where we threw the kitchen sink, and we were, Paul Doherty, who runs our field along with Tony Buckman, they were pulling supers off their projects at 3:30 to go work second and third shifts overnight around the clock just to make a date, for our client. And those are the ribbon cutting ceremony where the client sees and appreciates everything that you've done. You've gone above and beyond. I always joke, like we preach this to our younger employees, but, we all have a vested interest in going the extra mile. And I like to say there's not much traffic on the extra mile. But, those are the things that create. Pat preaches raving fans, and every new employee gets the book, The Raving Fan, here. And we always say, we can go out as Callahans and as Callahan employees and sell Callahan all day. And that's all well and good. But where you really take the next step in sales, I think, is when the collaborating partners and the clients that you work with, you did such a good job that they're outselling Callahan to other people,
Yeah. We talked about it before, but for those here in Massachusetts have driven by, I think the project I can't wait to see finally done is that Lake Quanah Power job.
Yeah.
Over there in Wakefield. I think that's amazing, especially that building sat empty for years and years and years over there. We had talked about it in the office. Wouldn't it be cool to have the Gould go over there and have like a campus over there? Pretty cool, but to see that building come down,
yeah,
and it would have been great. Way too big of a building for us, but the fact that it's going to be a whole compound over there, it's a beautiful building, and I've seen some of the renderings and the drawings, and to see that Callahan banner on the side of that building when you go by it's pretty awesome. If you had some advice, and we say this a lot, if we had you talk to someone who's thinking about becoming a member, what's some advice you'd give them?
Becoming an ABC member?
The ABC member, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just think it extends your network. It's a great resource. And admittedly, Mike, we probably don't use it as much as we should in terms of event involvement. I mean, we always do Meet the Generals and a few more. We've done the golf tournament over the years, but I would say it's a great resource. Almost if you're committed to growing a company, I think it's almost you kind of have to, because it's going to enable you to grow your network.
All right, that's Stephen Callahan, Vice President of Business Development over there at Callahan Construction Managers. Stephen, if anybody had any questions for you or wanted to ask you about anything construction related, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Sure. Yeah, my email is stevec@callahan-inc.com.
Awesome. And then comes my favorite part of the podcast is the lightning round. I want to ask Mr. Callahan had 10 rapid fire questions. And we
Hey,
will
Mike.
say that he does have a special thing. Yeah. You got something for me?
Can I give you one quick plug just to say,
Please.
Callahan, we've been hiring, we're in growth mode, and we're hiring at pretty much every position right now, but the the role that's been sort of the toughest to fill with the right person has been a senior pre-con manager or senior estimator. So if anyone out there is interested, please drop me a line.
That's excellent. And
Sorry.
that's what we're here for. No, I'm glad. And if we can help the folks at Callahan out, please reach out to Stephen directly. He'd love to talk to you. And then, when we talked before this, Stephen said that he was going to ask me some questions. So I'm a little nervous about this one. We'll see how this goes. But all right, first question I want to ask you is, have you ever been told you look like someone famous? If so, who was it?
Gary Woodland,
Who's that?
the PGA player.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna look at Gary Woodland. All right,
It's more the side view.
side view. All right. What was the name of your very first car? Do you ever name your cars?
My wife has always named her cars, but I didn't start
Never.
doing that until I met her.
All right. What's your wife's name? Her car.
We had, hold on, it's been a while.
Groundbreaking news here. It's
This is
groundbreaking.
such a hard question. Oh my God, what did she call the blue? I'm sorry.
All right, that's all right.
It's
This
escaping
is
me.
why we ask this is the hard hitting questions we ask here. Groundbreaking journalism here. What is your favorite item that you purchased for yourself this year?
Favorite item I've purchased for myself this year. It has to be for me. It can't be for my kids, right?
For you. All right, for your kids. Yeah, we'll take the kids. What'd you buy the kids?
My 9-year-old got a motorcycle for his birthday.
Wow.
He likes not like a a little dirt bike for a kid.
Yeah, good. That's great. Wow. I'm sure that your wife loved the fact you're planting that seed nice and early with these kids at 9 years old. Yeah. Motorcycle ride. Yeah. Love it. What is your most used emoji?
Crying, laughing face by a long shot.
I love it. If a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be and who would play you?
Comedy. Who would play me? Mike Maloney.
Oh my God, Steven. That's a great one. Let's see here. If you were a wrestler, what would your entrance theme song be? We're asking this question because the great Hulk Hogan passed away recently. So if you're a wrestler, what would your entrance theme song be?
Mama Said Knock You Out, LL Cool J.
That's a great one. Love it. Yep. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Be authentic.
What fictional family would you like to be a member of? Fictional being like make believe.
That's a tough one.
Tough one.
I'd go Brady Bunch just for like the simpler times nostalgia factor.
I think that's a fantastic answer. What is your favorite tradition or holiday?
4th of July.
What is your favorite TV show?
So many. Off the top of my head, I loved The Gentleman on Netflix.
I did watch that. I didn't finish it. I did watch it, but I didn't finish it. If you never watched it on Netflix, it's a crazy show. The brother, right? The brother's always getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Crazy. The chicken suit on the boat. Yeah. Crazy. If you've never seen it, watch The Gentleman on Netflix. It's crazy. Are you a cat or a dog person?
Dog.
Favorite meal to cook and why?
Make a pretty good chicken parm because it's easy.
Weirdest food you've ever eaten?
Non-human food back in college, and I can't go into any more detail than that.
If you could choose any two famous people to have dinner with, who would they be? Could be dead or alive.
Dead or alive. I go like Leonardo da Vinci.
Ooh.
And oh boy, Albert Einstein.
If aliens came down to Earth and would offer to take you back to their planet, would you go with them?
Absolutely. If I can bring my family.
All right. And then we always like to ask this question: is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Hot dog a sandwich in your mind?
Technically, no, because it's one piece of bread.
Okay.
But the second you break the crease, it technically becomes a sandwich. It would be my answer that I'd stick to.
Right.
But if I'm at someone's house and they're grilling hot dogs and they say, "Who wants a hot dog sandwich?" I'm leaving that cookout.
Yeah, we're out.
That's great.
Get you, honey, kids, get your stuff for out of here. And they're like, "Where are you going?" No, can't be here anymore. All right, so now I'm going to flip it now. So Steve's got a great idea. He's asked me some questions. Aside, yeah. Here we go. No one's ever done this before.
I wanted your audience to get to know you a little better.
Oh no!
All right, so Mike, you can accept $10 million, but every time you spend 100, you have to hear a toddler scream for a full minute. Do you take it?
Oh, I'm in. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I'm done. Yep,
Okay.
no problem.
All right.
Yep, love it.
Do you ever swear on your podcast, and what's your favorite swear word?
I have never swore on the podcast, but I would have to say my
Impressive.
favorite swear would have to be, the F bomb.
The versatility, I guess.
Yeah, because you can use it everywhere. It's very versatile.
Okay. What's the dumbest thing that makes you laugh every time?
The dumbest thing that makes me laugh. I love the TV show Ridiculousness, and every time someone gets like seriously like hurt, right? Someone like getting whacked with something or falling down or something like that, or the skateboarders, sliding down the railing, that type of stuff makes me laugh.
Nice. I agree. Okay, that's it. You're off the hook. I
love
it.
That was fantastic. I love it. I think that was fantastic. Yeah, I love it. All right, that's our friend Stephen. Thanks again for coming on. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate you everything you've done for the folks at ABC Massachusetts, and we hope to see you in an event soon.
Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks for having me.